So what happened with the Tamate Baku box in this chapter? Did it just suddenly begin falling down in slow motion? Kind of like in that movie Inception, you know? I mean, normally gravity wouldn't take that long. And why is Bartolomeo picking fights with the people of this town? It was intense. I mean, I did not expect that cover story to get so violent so quick. I mean, this guy has like a sharp stick, and this guy's just bleeding out of a mouth. It's just very, very bad. In the background, you see a burning building. What's up with that? Like, there's a guy with like a surrender flag. So did these people like insult Luffy? Like, that's the only reason for why I think Bartolomeo would do something like this. This is crazy. I hope they don't get in trouble. You know, they don't get captured by the Marines or something. It'd be kind of weird if we got Marineford 2.0, but instead of wanting to rescue Ace, it's Bartolomeo who we're trying to rescue from getting executed. Speaking of executions, it seems like the German guys kind of walked into one by the end of this chapter. I'll get into that later. Anyway, we start off with Chiffon, and I don't know what she was thinking. I really think that Chiffon, just like Lola, you know, aside from having the similarity of looking almost exactly alike, if not the same, they also have the similarity of being in denial that Big Mom actually cares about them as daughters. I mean, Lola gave Nami that Vivre card, like, yeah, here, go to the New World. This is a Vivre card to my mom. She'll help you out. What? No. And now Chiffon is like, you know, staring out the window being like, Mommy, I'm here to reason with you. I have my baby. Please don't hurt us. I actually think she made things worse for Capone by staring out that window, because Chiffon's appearance is a reminder in the flesh to Big Mom about her own inability to become king of the pirates, her failed attempt at becoming the pirate queen. How dare you! I could have defeated all these Yonko if it hadn't been for your stupid sister ruining that marriage with the giants. Anyway, I kind of also want to find out where's Pound, because now I'm kind of thinking that if the Tamate Baku box explosion isn't strong enough to make the tower lean or, you know, crack or just collapse, it may be strong enough to act as a signal so that if it falls down and it explodes, people near the area like Pound or Peckham's, or heck, maybe even the German army can hear it and be like, wait, what was that explosion? So they go and check it out and they're like, oh, this explosion. It seems like this thing came down from the tower, so let's go check it out. And one of those people may actually end up being the Okay, so that's kind of a crazy, far-fetched idea, but I have seen it floating around in the community, so I just thought I should just put it out there. The Blackbeard, apparently some people want Blackbeard to show up in this mess. Anyway, I was really impressed with Capone's Fortress Mode durability in this chapter because he was taking some serious damage. Those Big Mom hits are no joke. We saw this in the flashback. 5-year-old Lin Lin was capable of one-shotting a grizzly bear while holding back, not even using her full strength. Killed a grizzly bear no problem with one spank. So I was really surprised that the castle form lasted as long as it did, because he even says it in the chapter. Capone says, usually this form can tank cannon fire no problem, but because it's a Yonko, that's a problem. So it kind of got me thinking of how strong the form would be if Capone could coat himself with armament hockey. That being said, alright, the Zoro fanboying in this chapter reached new heights. It reached new levels, alright? Zoro's not even in the arc. He's mentioned so much in this chapter. Like, wait, Luffy, remember Zoro. We gotta go back to Zoro. If Zoro were here, okay, but Zoro, we have to get back to Zoro. That's why we didn't bring Zoro. Did I happen to mention Zoro? Like, if I were Sanji right there, I would have been pissed. There are more people than just Zoro waiting for you at Wano. Just FYI. But it's so funny. It's like... The Zoro stance just came running out of the woodwork in this chapter. It was incredible. That being said, though, Nami did have a point. You know, she's like, well, we got our objectives. We got Sanji back, all right? We saved his family. The Vinsmokes are right here. And we got the poneglyph rubbing. So what are you going to do, Luffy? Like, there's no point in you going out there, especially when you're so outclassed. You are outmatched hardcore. And I think Luffy knows this because he actually stops and says, okay, fine, I get it. What do we do? Capone says, I can turn back into my human form and press Caesar's heart to manipulate him to fly me out of here. Because Caesar is not doing this voluntarily. He's like, I don't want to go out there. I mean, most of these cats have armament hockey. So even if I start flying in my gas form, they can snipe me the hell down. Here's my problem with that plan, though. when Rouge beats Snack, you know, one of the 4 Sweet Commanders, it was Brule, I think, who said that Big Mom got so pissed off that she sent a storm and a fleet after him. So if they go up into the sky, you better be ready for some thunder. You know what though? Never mind. Luffy's made out of rubber. He doesn't conduct electricity. So even if like lightning is raining down on them, he can provide them cover. Also, I think Nami at one point said that she could manipulate the clouds created by Big Mom, the thunder clouds created by Big Mom. So that's actually a pretty good plan. In other news, despite the wishes and expectations of a lot of people, but mainly Sanji fans, it doesn't seem like Sanji will fight his bros nor Judge in this arc or in the near future. In fact, we have a character moment between Judge and Sanji, which makes it kind of obvious that he's letting bygones be bygones. He's letting go of that grudge against Judge. And I'm kind of conflicted because despite the fact that I thought it was a pretty good character moment for Sanji, especially showcasing what he learned from Zeph and, you know, this example that he was for him as a dad, and that's why he can forgive these people now that he's an adult, or at least let go of that anger and resentment. I thought that was a pretty good character moment for Sanji, but at the same time, I really hope that this is not the end of the Vinsmoke family storyline, because if that's the case, then it kind of does seem like Oda just wanted to wrap everything as quick as possible in a neat little bow and just give it to you so that we could just escape. Now here's the thing, because I read 2 translations for this chapter, okay? The first one made it seem as if the Vinsmokes were ready to take this huge, massive L. They were ready to sacrifice themselves for the Alliance to get the hell out of here, all right? That's what I felt the first time I read it. When I read another second translation, that translation made it seem as if, okay, as of right now, we are your escort. Your escort, you know, like a police escort. So you're the security there that is basically guaranteeing you an exit. We'll be here as cover. But as soon as you guys are up in the sky, we're leaving too. We're splitting. So you get very different feels, very different implied sort of goals and intentions from the Vinsmokes from both of those translations. Again, the first translation made me think that the Vinsmokes were ready to stay behind, all right? As a lamb to the slaughter, pretty much. Which, when I read that, I kind of said, wait, that makes no sense, because Nami in this chapter just said, we accomplished one of the goals of getting Sanji's family back. So if they're actually going to sacrifice themselves, then what was the point of actually saving them in the first place? Because of that, I'm actually more inclined to believe the second translation and sort of think that Judge was saying, okay, we'll grant you some cover. We'll be your escort. You get out of here. But as soon as we've seen that you've gotten away, we're leaving too. Okay? And that makes sense with the chapter's title, which is called Farewell. Now, what both of those translations do agree on, however, is Luffy's intention when it comes to going out of Capone. He specifically says in both translations, you can check page 15, Manga Stream if you haven't. He says, okay, if this is about buying time, I'll help them out. I'll fight too. But it's with the intention of buying time so that people can escape. He doesn't say, I'm going out there to fight Big Mom to the death. I'm going to take down my first Yonko. No, he doesn't say that. He just says, if I can help them buy time, I'm going to do it by fighting. So ultimately the goal is still to escape. But because it's a shonen regulations and requirements kind of pressure Oda to give us some type of action, you know, near or on the climax of each arc. So we're getting a clash here. I don't know how long this is going to go for. I would be really surprised if this actually gets extended to an actual fight. But I have to say that just visually, it was a stunning way to end the chapter. Vinsmokes and Caesar get thrown out of Capone, and the Vinsmokes tank mad firearm power coming at them just from all ends. It's like an execution. They walked into a firing squad, pretty much, and they tank it, and then Reiju actually takes a direct hit from Prometheus. That's a feat. Write that up. I thought it was really surprising, though, how Niji reacted to that. Because he's like, Reiju! And I'm like, wait, I thought the Vinsmokes weren't supposed to have emotions. Either that was a mistake from Oda to show Niji reacting to Reiju in that way, or Niji is gradually beginning to get his emotions back. Now, see, the problem with that statement is that in the flashback, it was revealed that the Vinsmokes didn't have emotions to begin with. The only exception was Sanji and Reiju. But then if those two were exceptions, why couldn't the rest of the brothers eventually be exceptions too? Then again, we also saw Ichiji Uchiha acting very cold, very Sasuke-like in the same situation. So my guess is that maybe the drug that was taken to make them less emotional, to make them have less feelings, actually ended up affecting Ichiji the most. I'll tell you one thing, before this arc ends, Judge has to lose the helmet. It either has to be knocked off or he has to take it off himself to reveal that his eyebrows head in the same direction as Sanji's, and that the reason why he's been hiding them all this time is because he's been ashamed. Like, he didn't want to be associated with Sanji. In this chapter, we actually get the repetition of that moment in the flashback where he actually tells Sanji that. So him taking off the helmet by himself would actually make for a pretty good moment in him finally coming to the realization that, you know, Sanji, you're actually not that bad of a son after all. Final epic looking page of the chapter, Reiju is about to be hit by Zeus, and we hear Gomu Gomu no, and also Diablo Jamba. Notice how it took a Diablo Jamba, alright, and an elephant gun to stall the Big Mom hit that was aimed at Reiju. That's how strong Big Mom is. I also want to mention, is this technically the first time that Sanji has aimed his attack or an attack at a woman? Or does he just not consider Big Mom a woman? Also, it's important to note that if Luffy really wanted to take Big Mom on there and then, he probably would have come out of Capone already in Gear 4th. But no, he just goes out there with an attack that wouldn't even do anything against Doflamingo. So he knows what he's doing, alright? As stated by him in this chapter, he's fighting to buy time. He was convinced by Nami in the opening act of this chapter. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below. What do you think is going to happen next? What were your thoughts about this chapter? Thank you for everything you do, guys. Catch you later. Bye.